The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 7, aka Chapter 15, The Believer. Right off the bat, I'm going to say that Rick Famuyiwa is my favorite director of the series. He directed Chapter 2 of the first season called The Child. He directed Chapter 6 of the first season titled The Prisoner, and he directed this one, obviously. I think he's so damn talented. He's such a great director, and yeah, I've loved every episode that he's done. Just great across the board. I think he's the best of the series, but that's just me. Anyway, as we know from the previous episode, Mando needs to break Mayfeld, who you may remember from that Chapter 6, The Prisoner episode, played by Bill Burr, needs to break him out of a life of hard labor at a scrapyard prison. And the reason that Mando needs Mayfeld is because Mayfeld used to be Imperial, and he knows the customs, the protocols, the clearances, and he will be a great asset on this mission. Their ultimate goal is to find Moff Gideon's cruiser. When Slave One touches down outside of the scrapyard and Mayfeld and Cara Dune are walking towards it, Boba Fett comes down the plank and Mayfeld says, "I thought you were this other guy." You know, there's so many great little lines and clever lines of dialogue in this episode from Bill Burr, from Mayfeld. I don't know if a lot of these are ad-libbed. It seems like maybe Rick Famuyiwa just, basically said, "I like you, Bill Burr. Throw some of your own Bill Burr isms into the show." Maybe it was completely scripted, I have no idea, but it seems like a lot of what Bill Burr's Mayfeld is talking about in this episode is ad-libbed off the top of his head. Could be wrong. I'd love to see a making of these episodes with Rick Famuyiwa, but anyway, and I don't think it's ever gonna not be weird to see Slave One zipping around like we do now. It's crazy. Anyway, they go to a secret Imperial mining hub on Morak. They're looking for Moff Gideon's cruiser, as I said. When they touch down on Morak, trying to figure out who's going to go. And ultimately, Mayfeld and Mando are the two that are going to try to infiltrate this base by hijacking a vehicle that is transporting some hazardous material. And there's another example of a line that I wonder if it was just completely ad-libbed. Mayfeld, he's putting on this stormtrooper uniform, and he says, "Oh, this guy reeked. His gloves are still wet." It just made me giggle. I like humor, I like goofiness in Star Wars, and to me, Mayfeld fits so well into that goofy, silly pocket that I like so much. So Mayfeld and Mando head into this mining operation, and we get a little kind of speech, a short little speech from Mayfeld, basically, as they're driving. He's talking about the Empire and the New Republic. He's talking about how these factions don't matter to the people that they're driving by, these like villagers that live on this planet, right? He calls the Empire and the New Republic just invaders on these people's land. They don't care who it is. They're invaders, right? It's a great conversation as they're bouncing on this dirt road. Mayfeld talks about choice and armies and belief and rules, and how if you're born on this patch of dirt, you believe something different than these people born on this patch of dirt. And eventually, none of it matters. These worlds don't exist anymore, and it's great. He talks about rules and belief. I love these kind of conversations in Star Wars too. Obviously, they parallel real world, but on this massive galactic sci-fi Star Wars scale. And I like it. It even dips into the idea of canon too, right? And rules of canon. He says, can you take off your helmet, or are you allowed to just not show your face, or can you wear somebody else's helmet? He talks about all these rules and stuff like that. It's a great little conversation that I loved. There's another one later on that's great too, but anyway, so as they're driving, Mando and Mayfeld come under attack by pirates. It's super fun action. It's like a train heist. They're trying to guard the train, basically. These pirates are leaping onto this vehicle, trying to put a thermal detonator on top of this hazardous waste. I can't remember what it's called, but they're trying to blow up the shipment. They've already blown up a couple other Imperial vehicles that were trying to get shipments to the base, and these pirates are just non-stop speeding up, trying to jump on. Mando's knocking them off. The final group of pirates, I love the way this was shot. It was like a side shot of a ton of pirates coming up on speeders, and they're all igniting their thermal detonators like all at once in a line. You just hear the thermal detonators activating, And it's just this great little tense moment. Great shot. I love the way it was done. Yeah, this entire scene, this action-packed greatness. But ultimately, they were saved by TIE fighters, saved by the Empire. You see Imperial troops come out firing at these pirates. These TIE fighters coming down, shooting at the pirates. And they're saved by the Empire, basically. One of my biggest pet peeves is something stupid that I noticed in any movie or show or whatever is when people salute with their left hand. You're supposed to salute with your right hand. And yeah, I know this is Star Wars, but you even salute with your right hand in Star Wars. There's countless examples of that. It's just a pet peeve of mine. Now, as I was writing this script, I went back and looked at that scene. And I was like, oh, you know what? This is actually a flipped scene. This is flipped. I can tell because of the Stormtrooper armor. I have a full set of screen accurate A New Hope stunt Stormtrooper armor. So I notice these kind of things. But the dead giveaway for this scene being flipped, this shot being flipped, is the legs, the knees. The little knee protector thing should be on the Stormtrooper's left leg. So yeah, the shot is flipped. It's flipped. Okay. They were actually saluting with their right hand. Okay, it's the little things that I notice. I just wasted a minute of your life explaining this. That's kind of a fun little detail, right, in the episode? So they were actually saluting with their right hand. The shot is flipped. And in the next scene, we see them saluting with their right hand. It is just a pet peeve of mine in like war movies and stuff like that. Seeing somebody salute with their left hand is very rare. I have seen it. I'm blanking on examples, but one of the biggest pet peeves is like actors not knowing how to salute. Whenever I watch a war movie and people throw up a salute, I think, oh, you should have had somebody teach your actors how to salute, because there's a big difference in seeing someone who like knows how to salute and doesn't. It might not seem like it's noticeable, but goddamn, it's a very noticeable thing. These stormtroopers are all saluting very good, by the way. Anyway. What a stupid conversation. I just wasted another minute of your time. Mando and Mayfeld receive a warm welcome from the folks inside of the mining operation. They're like combat pilots returning from a harrowing mission, making it back, by the skin of their teeth. And they need to access a terminal, and the terminal is in the officer's mess. But as Mayfeld is walking in to access this terminal, and they need to access it to get coordinates of Moff Gideon's cruiser, he stops short because there's somebody in there that he recognizes, somebody in there that he served under. Valin Hess, I believe he said. Yeah, Valin Hess. And Mayfeld is worried that, Valin Hess is going to recognize him. So Mando says he'll do it. And he walks up to the terminal, he takes off his helmet. For the kid, he takes it off for the kid, and as he's doing this, as he's going on the terminal, as he's pressing on the terminal trying to get the information that he needs, Valin Hess walks over to him and kind of gives him a hard time. Trooper, what's your TK number? He's kind of poking holes in the story, but Mayfeld gets him out of this sticky situation. He says that Mando lost his hearing doing some pressurized whatever. Gets him out of the situation, just rattling off a bunch of Imperial information, as because he knows what he's talking about. He says that everybody calls Mando Old Brown Eyes, I think, and this just sets up another really fun moment, a really interesting moment. Valin Hess, this officer, kind of smiles. He says, "Come with me, let's get a drink." Brown eyes. I love this moment. It's super tense. It's one of those kind of moments where like the people in the know, like Mando and Mayfeld, they're super tense, and we are super tense as well. But this officer is just has his guard down at the moment, right? Completely has his guard down, is completely trusting, just wants to have a drink. I love scenes like this. I mean, there's another scene in Inglourious Basterds that's very similar to this as well. For whatever reason, that's like the first thing that comes to my mind. But I love moments like this for sure. And as they sit down to have this drink, they discuss what to toast. And Bill Burr, Mayfeld, I always call him Bill Burr, says, let's toast to Operation Cinder, which you may remember from Battlefront 2. I mean, it's been mentioned in a bunch of stuff. It's appeared in a bunch of stuff as well, but there's this great tension here as Valin Hess is kind of justifying his actions for Operation Cinder. And Mayfeld, says we lost like 10, 15,000 people. there's this great conversation. Valin Hess says, sacrifice for the Empire, a small price to pay for the Empire's success. And Mayfeld is like, yeah, I bet the people who died wouldn't think that, right? There's this great moment where Mayfeld is just gritting his teeth, listening to this guy babble on. You can tell he wants to reach across the table and rip this guy's goddamn head off, right? I loved this moment. I loved it. And yeah, that's pretty much what he does. He pulls out his blaster, shoots him from across the table. Mando and Mayfeld look at each other, and then they make their escape. Just kind of blasting their way out of the mining base by crawling out a window, getting to the roof. Slave One picks him up. Mayfeld fires down at the shipment that he fires down at the shipment that they brought, blowing up the base. The base is on fire. Slave One versus 2 TIE fighters as they're flying away. And for the first time in a long time, we see and hear a seismic charge outside of a video game, I believe. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. In the end, they let Mayfeld go. Cara Dune's report to the New Republic, since she's the Marshal, says that prisoner Mayfeld died in the refinery explosion. So he's got a clean slate, I suppose. And in the end, Mando sends a message to Moff Gideon, and it's terrifying. It's the voice of a father hell-bent on revenge, the voice of a man with nothing to lose, and one focused goal. So I loved this episode, man. I think Rick Famuyiwa is my personal favorite director of the series. I feel like whenever I watch one of his episodes, I can tell it's his episode. I feel like he incorporates a lot more humor and goofiness into his episodes, which I deeply appreciate and love. And I don't know if he's going to be directing anymore, but I definitely hope he does. I hope he directs as much Star Wars as he wants to. I think he's a hell of a director, and he puts a really fun spin on everything that he does. And obviously, I think he likes Bill Burr quite a bit. And as a director, it seems like he just kind of lets Bill Burr loose to do his own thing, which is always enjoyable. But man, yeah, so Mando has the coordinates to Moff Gideon's cruiser, and there's one episode left in this season. So if I had to guess, they're going to be assaulting that cruiser next episode. But who knows, man? Who knows? Also, if I had to guess, and maybe this is super cheesy, but a lot of people that Mando has met along the way might come and help. I mean, that would be super cheesy, right? Mayfeld, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, just like this huge ensemble crew coming back to help Mando. Probably wrong, but that might be way too cheesy, way too fan servicey, but I could see it happening. Anyway, I liked how downplayed Boba Fett was in this episode. They're still focusing on Mando, the main storyline, the main character. I was worried that Boba Fett would kind of start taking over things in the eyes of the audience, but I can't picture that now. They've done a really hell of a job sticking to and focusing on what needs to be focused on. So anyway, let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. This is great, man. This is great. One more episode to go. I'm going to miss these Friday mornings. Hello, Greedo. Out.